My name is Matthew Hollis from 365 Films. I review a film a day for 365 days, so I pick a new film every single day and watch it and then jump on here and give you a quick review of it. So the film that I watched today was Babel, directed by Alejandro Iñárritu. So basically this film, what happens is Cate Blanchett and Brad Pitt are going to Morocco, and their marriage is kind of on the rocks, and then there you can tell immediately that they're having marital problems. And what happens is they're on a bus, and all of a sudden she gets shot in the neck just out of nowheres. And the whole movie really spans around these three stories: one in Morocco, one in North America, and in Mexico, and then one in Japan. So you maybe already be thinking, if you haven't seen the movie yet, how do they intertwine these together? And if you've ever seen Magnolia, it's kind of like that. You know, at the beginning you don't really understand why all these stories are being told, and it keeps cutting between each scene or each character. And the one that I really enjoyed the most was the Japanese part of the story. Her story was the best. She's deaf and stuff like that, and just her aspect and stuff. There's this whole club scene that she goes to a club with this guy, and she's younger, she's in her like late teens and stuff like that, and she goes to this club and there's music going on and everybody's dancing around and she can't hear anything. And that just clicked for me. I'm like, man, I've never ever thought, you know, being deaf, like how that affects, you know, obviously you listening to music and dancing to music and stuff, you're kind of just watching everybody else do it, but you can feel the vibrations, but that's it. And it's like, man, I can't imagine and stuff being in that type of situation and stuff. So my heart goes out to anybody that is deaf or has any deaf siblings or family members or friends. That's one of those things. Yeah, it has a lot of different messages. And going back to the Morocco part of the story, I feel like the whole entire movie, like I said in the beginning, is all about communication and miscommunication. You know, and this goes out to Alejandro, the director, because he has the attention to detail to have all these stories intertwine with one message, and that's communication and miscommunication. You know, after she's shot, there's this whole them trying to get rescue for her and stuff like that, and at every single step, it takes them so long to get aid to her and to get her back to a hospital because of how much miscommunication, and that has to do with language and body language and everything like that. And it really makes you think, you know, how often we miscommunicate in life, and how often our messages that we're saying can be construed as something else to somebody else. You know, unless if you come out and say what you really mean, it could be interpreted many different ways, especially in different cultures. And that's one thing that this movie did really, really well, is it went through a ton of different cultures. You know, Japanese culture, North American culture, Mexican culture, and Moroccan culture is so different in every step of the way. Yeah, and Iñárritu is an incredible director. I've now seen 3 of his films, and I'm going back through his catalog. I can't wait to watch Beautiful and the rest of his movies, because he just has this incredible attention to detail. And as far as this film goes, and the acting was incredible, especially from the Japanese female lead in this story. She was amazing, and I've seen her before. She was in Cloud Atlas, and she was in a couple of other movies that are escaping my mind right now, but she's a great actress, and I really, really wish that she would be in more movies. And just the whole entire story intertwining towards the end. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys if you haven't seen the film, but this film, more than his other 2 films that I've seen, Birdman and The Revenant, they all kind of are going around one singular message, and that's kind of, or not going around a singular message, but they all follow one. And it's kind of cool when you see a filmmaker that cares more than just entertaining you. They're trying to teach you something. They're trying to tell you something. And this film just did exactly what Birdman and The Revenant did, and telling a story, but then also giving you a message through the story. And just going through all of that and knowing the amount of detail and the amount of time it takes to put that together and have it make sense, just is props are up to Iñárritu for doing it. And I just know that as far as all of his films go, none of them have disappointed me. This one is kind of slow at times. That possibly might take people out of the film. There are certain times in the film where you're like, man, this film might be dragging a little bit. But just know that if you hang on through the entire film, that you will get a message that will stick with you after the film is over. And another film that does that really well is Magnolia. Magnolia is like 3 hours or something like that. And when you see the runtime of the film, you're going, man, I don't know if I can make it through a 3-hour film. And by the end of it, the whole entire message makes sense, and you go, okay, that was one of the greatest movies I've seen in a while. And this film does that as well. I recommend you guys sit down and watch it. It's not exactly a film that you could possibly just sit down and chill and watch. It's not one of those films that's entertaining per se. It's one of those films that you have to kind of pay attention and follow it every step of the way. But I'm telling you, if you do, it'll definitely pay off for you. The direction was incredible. The acting was really great. And even the cinematography was pretty good. It wasn't Emmanuel Lubezki level cinematography from his last 2 films, Birdman and The Revenant, but it definitely is great, and the shots in there are incredible. And to think that this film is already 10 years old, I just noticed that today when I looked it up, is that it was made in 2006. It's already 2016. It's already been 10 years old almost. And that's crazy that time flies that fast, but that's just what happens, I guess. So thank you so much, you guys, for getting on here and listening to my review of Babel. I'll have another review for you guys tomorrow. Don't know which film yet. I'm going to... In the next couple of days, I'm possibly going to go see a ton of Oscar contenders in theaters, like Carol, Room, The Danish Girl, all those films, so I might be reviewing those. You'll definitely have a review for Room and Carol very soon. And hopefully Spotlight comes out here, because I'd like to see that before the Academy Awards are on, so I know whether or not, in my opinion, it deserves to win. So far, I think the film that's going to win is The Revenant, and that just is another testament to how great of a filmmaker Iñárritu is that he can do back-to-back films that impact you in such a way, like Birdman and The Revenant. So thank you guys so much for getting on here. I'll be on here again tomorrow.